There's a city once ranked among the most livable in the world. Its skyline, once a symbol of hope and ambition, now casts a shadow over streets that feel colder, emptier, somehow changed. People are quietly walking away from it, not with anger, but with a kind of tired resignation. What happened to the city that used to be called paradise? Why are young people leaving in waves, and why does it feel like a dream is slipping away, almost unnoticed? For decades, cities like Toronto and Vancouver shone as beacons of possibility. Their streets buzzed with life, their neighborhoods thrummed with diversity. Here, you could find every language, every cuisine, every festival. For immigrants, these cities were more than just a place to live. They were the start of a brand new life, a promise that hard work would be rewarded, that your children would have a brighter future. Walk through the city on a summer evening and you'd see it. Food festivals lighting up the streets, young professionals laughing on patios, artists painting murals on alley walls. The energy was infectious. Anyone could belong here, or so it seemed. But beneath the bright lights, something was beginning to shift. The urban dream was straining under the weight of its own success. In 2023, the cracks became impossible to ignore. Rent prices in Toronto and Vancouver exploded. Suddenly, a studio apartment demanded $2,300 a month. If you wanted a room, just a room, with no privacy, shared with strangers, you'd pay $1,000, sometimes more. TikTok videos went viral, showing people crammed into tiny spaces, sharing kitchens and bathrooms with half a dozen others, all for the privilege of saying they lived in the city. Full-time workers, even those with good jobs, found themselves unable to afford living alone. The math simply didn't add up. People started to ask, is this really worth it? And it wasn't just rent. Groceries, gas, power, everything was getting more expensive. Every trip to the supermarket was a shock. A bag of apples, a carton of milk, a loaf of bread. Prices rising faster than paychecks. The cost of living was climbing, but wages were stuck, flatlining year after year. Some people took on 2 jobs, hustling from dawn to dusk, just to keep up. But even then, the idea of buying a home was a fantasy. Starting a family? Out of the question. Taking time off to rest, to travel, to enjoy life? A distant dream. It's easy to blame the young people, to say they're lazy, entitled, unwilling to work hard. But that's not the truth. They're smart, driven, and resilient. They're doing everything right and still falling behind. When you give it your all and it's still not enough, that's not a personal failure. That's a system that stopped working for the people who built it. And so quietly, people are leaving. Some are moving to smaller towns where rent is cheaper and life moves a little slower. Others are leaving Canada altogether, chasing opportunity in places where the cost of living doesn't eat up every paycheck. The cities they're leaving behind are still beautiful. The glass towers gleam in the sun, the parks are green, the mountains rise in the distance. But they're no longer built for normal people. They're built for the rich, for the privileged, for those who can afford to pay any price. Walk through downtown, and you'll see the contrast. Homeless people sleeping in doorways, luxury condos rising above them, empty storefronts where local shops used to be. It's like there are 2 cities now, one visible, one forgotten. And the people leaving? They're the very ones who used to hold these cities up. The teachers, the nurses, the artists, the small business owners, the dreamers. Is this the start of a quiet collapse? The signs are everywhere if you know where to look. Empty storefronts, for lease signs gathering dust, population stats that no longer climb but begin to shrink. Schools with fewer students, neighborhoods where the lights go out a little earlier each night. The city is still beautiful, but is it livable? That's the question echoing in the minds of those who remain. Are these cities slowly dying, or are they simply evolving into something most of us can't afford to belong to? It's easy to be seduced by the image of city life, the Instagram feeds, the glossy travel magazines, the stories of endless opportunity. But not every city is worth living in, no matter how famous it looks online. The truth is, you deserve more than just survival. You deserve a place where you can actually live, not just scrape by. If you're thinking about moving, don't do it for the hype. Don't do it for the image. Find a place where you can breathe, where you can find peace, where you can build a life that feels like your own. Maybe that place is a smaller town, where neighbors know your name and rent doesn't eat up half your paycheck. Maybe it's a different city or even a different country. The important thing is to choose a place that works for you, not just a place that looks good on a postcard. Where do you live now? Is it still the city you once fell in love with, or has it changed in ways you never expected? If your view of city life has changed, you're not alone. Drop a comment, "I used to think differently," and share your story. If you've lived in Canada, we'd love to hear your honest experience. What's changed? What's stayed the same? What advice would you give to someone thinking about making the move? The truth is, cities are more than just buildings and streets. They're the sum of the people who live in them, the dreams they chase, the lives they build. When those people start to leave, something essential is lost. The city grows quieter, a little emptier, a little less alive. But maybe, just maybe, there's hope in the leaving. Maybe those who walk away are building something new, somewhere else. A different kind of paradise, one that isn't measured in rent prices or Instagram likes, but in peace, purpose, and belonging. So if you're struggling, if you feel like you're falling behind, know this: it's not your fault. You're not alone. And you have the right to seek a better life, wherever that may be. Follow this journey and join a community that values honesty over hype, real stories over polished images. There's more to life abroad than just the postcard moments. There's the reality, the struggle, the search for meaning. And maybe, by sharing our stories, we can build something better together. The city's skyline still glows in the evening, but look a little closer and you'll see the signs of change. The laughter is a little softer now, the crowd's a little thinner, the dreams a little more fragile. But for those who choose to stay, and for those who choose to leave, the search for a place to truly call home goes on. If you're listening to this, know that your story matters. Your experience is part of a bigger picture, one that's still being written every day by people just like you. So, where will you go from here? Will you stay and fight for the city you love? Or will you seek out a new beginning somewhere else? Whatever you choose, do it for yourself. Not for the image, not for the hype, but for the life you want to live. And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community out there searching for answers, searching for home. Let's talk, let's share, and let's build something better together.